Hello there, readers, watchers, fabled audience that lives on the other side of the screen from us glowingly amassed coded-shaped and programmed bits of controlled energies. I am Metaphorm, or at least a form of Meta. I'll be your host today for the first ever reading of The Merchant of Venus. On YouTube. Merchant of Venus was written by Brian Lee for the first annual 2009 www.whatcomrades.org writing contest. It got him selected to represent Bellingham Technical College in that annual writing contest in which Isaac Wolf himself came to Bellingham to be a part of. So get comfortable, pause this clip if you have to do whatever first because this story's short in the telling, but long in the listening. The Merchant of Venus. Disgusting that the coffee was this cold, but then again he wasn't feeling picky enough to complain or ambitious enough to brew a fresh pot. It wasn't that Samuel Gibson was lazy, he had ambitions that laid in other directions. Cold coffee was to him as tolerable as a date with a real hot female acquaintance who only happened to have bad breath. Given his current marital status he wasn't dating, he only allowed himself a side trip with the cold coffee and it was usually he with the bad breath. His wife to many might not be seen as a lucky woman, but it was a small town with a limited selection and she could have done far worse. Becky Sampson, now Rebecca Gibson, at least had a husband with his own farm. A running truck-shaped sculpture of rust and similar masterpieces of corroded metallic glory in tractor and station wagon versions. Not too shabby for second runner-up for Cadmore High School's prom queen. Kids, children, were still in the works. She, as with most things around the farm, was doing most of the work. Samuel caught a glimpse of her at the kitchen window doing dishes, humming along with the country station that competed for household noise with the running sink tap. To his eyes all was right with the world, and the other worlds he was going to introducing to the humble little speck in the dust bowl of Montana known as Butte. He strode around the outside of the house, carefully sipping his coffee. Though it was not hot, he was still walking and spillage happens. It was to the barn his booted feet took him. On the way there he nearly jumped at the sudden appearance of Curry, their rural residence as head of vermin suppression. Curry, named so for his dusty golden fur, had found his way onto the property some weeks ago by Sam's reckoning. He discovered the cat wandering around the junkyard on the farm. That graveyard of dead machinery was really 3 to 4 generations of accumulated mechanical breakdowns, but Sam had planned to put it to work for him. You probably know the song, but it's a good phrase for this case as Samuel Gibson was building a mystery. He was planning on getting himself famous. He'd some time back been introduced to late-night talk radio by what he called one of his kookier friends, a true believer in more things of the heavens and earth than were dreamt of even in Sam's low-cunning philosophy. The people being interviewed on this radio program were no doubt becoming rich and famous off what Samuel thought of as purely delusional crap. It seemed an easy enough piece of the pie to cut out for himself nonetheless. He also had help. It helped to have kooky friends. Lyle Beeman was just such a friend. Lyle was a whiz at welding, electronics, mechanics and theatrical presentation. One might even say he was a master of illusion. He seemed more at home with technology than people, though. He was found offensive to Sam's cousin Larry, who was a devout, almost fanatical follower of the Bible who cringed at Lyle's taste in death metal music and absolutely despised this plan they'd both concocted. Even Curry steered clear of him and was nowhere to be found when Lyle was by. To him, by God, humans were God's only people. All else people have cited were just tricks of the devil. You see, Sam and Lyle were building a spaceship to hoax their own UFO encounters with. Samuel Gibson was doing this for money, winning him enough riches and fame to get himself and this town known, of course, but he envisioned the money getting him out of this humdrum farming life he'd inherited. Lyle wasn't in it for those exact reasons. His demands were far more twisted, if one were to take him seriously. He eventually got around to telling Sam that he was a Venusian and alien. All he wanted out of this enterprise were samples of flesh from Sam and generations of his progeny for centuries to come. Seemed a harmless bargain to strike with ordinary-looking Lyle Beeman, didn't it? Not so. Lyle Beeman, Lyle B., Belial, or just plain old Belial, was really just your run-of-the-mill demon who specialized in trickery to get him his collection of committed souls. He'd been disguised as Curry the barn cat to watch Samuel as he deedled around the farm, and in human form heartily helped along this hoaxing plan of theirs. He's still got Samuel Gibson's signature on a contract that drunken Sam didn't take seriously enough. Belial considered this his very own word-mad pound of flesh. Well, and there you have it, the end. Brian Lee does intend to participate in the 2010 second annual whatcomreads.org as well, and he hopes you all will too. Let's try to keep literacy alive so creativity and new ideas and philosophies and brand new worlds can keep opening our minds' eyes to realms of probability and possibility unrealized.